planning to build a new building or refurbishing an existing building, there can often be substantial tax relief. It's normally fairly obvious you can get tax relief on items that move, such as furniture and computers. But what about the fixtures in the building? It's often easy for the tax relief on this not to be maximised. So here are some of my top tips in order to get the best tax relief you can, whether you're using the building in your own trade or whether you're renting it out, provided it's commercial property. So first of all, early planning is key. If you're getting quotes in from builders or someone's project managing it for you, it's important to get tax advice at that stage to ensure that adequate breakdowns are obtained to maximise your tax relief. The next point is to get the best summary of costs that you can and to ensure these are analysed. On larger projects, we may well come out and see the building or work with some surveyors or architects you have to ensure that all the items are identified, as some can be hidden in long lines of costs. So early planning is key and often save costs in the long run. The next key point we look at is in what pot does this expenditure fall into? Different pots have different rules for tax relief. So for example, does this qualify in the main pool? So this is things like fitted kitchens, sanitary ware, alarm systems. Items like that can often get tax relief of up to 100% in the year of expenditure. We then have items that qualify in what's known as the special rate pool. So some of these have a slightly longer life. So things like lift systems, electrical and heating systems. And again, these can qualify either for 50 or 100% or maybe for writing down allowances, depending on the amount of expenditure you have. You can then look at other opportunities. For example, companies could qualify for land remediation relief. So is any asbestos being removed? Any substructures beneath the ground? Or anything like Japanese knotweed? These can get tax relief of up to 150%. We then look at structures and buildings allowances, and again, there are allowances of 3% available for many costs. And finally, we look at costs which might be able to be apportioned, or some overhead or preliminary costs. And again, it's important for these to be identified and considered, as overall these can also be substantial. So this will hopefully leave only a very small minority of costs that don't qualify for any tax relief at the outset. Don't forget, if your business has already started to trade or already rent properties, then you can claim tax relief as you go along. But for example, if you have a new company or business, then you can normally only claim from when you start to trade or rent. So what's the best way to claim? These allowances often give you significant tax losses, and in many cases, it's best to claim them as early as possible. But however, this may not be the case. For example, if there's a large group of companies and you have the £2 million corporate interest restriction, or again for some groups where you have more than £5 million of profits and you have losses brought forwards. In those cases, we normally recommend doing some complex modelling to consider the best way to claim. And for others, you may also wish to consider the marginal tax rate that you have to consider whether it's best to claim them all in the first year. In relation to larger projects, you may wish to consider whether it would be valuable to get a capital allowance report, and this is often advised to give you a supportable tax position to submit with the revenue with your claim. This is also helpful for any due diligence if the business or the property is sold in future. We are also able to advise on any disclosure to put on the tax returns in relation to any capital allowance claims and ensure that you optimise the tax relief on any building projects you have planned. If you'd like any help or guidance on how we can help, then please do get in touch.